Hello and welcome to the Core Daily Minute thing. And I'm Beau from Core, not Scott, the usual person to be expecting. Posted for whatever date Scott decides to post this on. And I need to answer the question for a few people that I get a lot. Should I play hardcore WoW? I talked about it on last week's show quite enthusiastically, but then I started getting questions like, I've never played WoW. How do I get started in hardcore WoW? And I thought, I need to clarify a few things. And also, I'll probably bring it up on the show as well, in case listeners miss this. But with great urgency, I bring this out. So what is hardcore WoW? First of all, it is World of Warcraft, Classic, or Wrath of the Lich King, but, Classic servers. I think it's called Classic Era, or Wrath servers. And there's a community-supported mod which tracks your progress and, attributes achievements and accomplishments based on said progress. Most notably, if you die, then you have to create a new character and delete the one that you're playing. So there are definitely fans of hardcore out there who listened to the show who thought, oh shit, a difficult experience. How do I get involved? I've never played WoW. Should I play it? Should I get into this? And so what I'm going to say, to start off is, if you've not played any World of Warcraft, you may want to approach this with some caution. We are on classic. I'm playing on classic era servers, so that's like, what is it, a 20-year-old game at this point, or almost 20 years old? That mode was launched, warts and all, as is, pretty much to my understanding, with some minor bug fixes in the state that it was in during that era, which means there are all kinds of nuances to how the game plays that have since been improved in retail or just in gaming in general. So one example of that might be there's no verticality detection when getting hit. So if you're standing on a platform above and aggro some monsters below, they will hit you. And if you don't know that, you may get overwhelmed and die. And if you spend a few days playing and lose your character to something like this, it will be frustrating. And so I would say it's going to kind of suck to learn about all the nuances of the World of Warcraft original server by trying it for your first time, where you have to delete every time you make a mistake. I think the recommendation would be, at the very least, would be to play regular World of Warcraft for a bit if you're really insistent on it. But it's an MMO. It's a long game. You're going to be spending quite a bit of time learning the nuances. So this is difficult sell, I think, for someone who hasn't played World of Warcraft before. But if you're committed, I wouldn't discourage it. If you've played WoW before, but not done any hardcore, your mileage may vary. Getting one life can be extremely tilting. This is also solo self-found, so you can't store up mats for an alternate character. And what I mean by this, when I played Diablo 3 hardcore, one of my first priorities was to farm a backup gear set, farm gem of eases, ways to level up quickly. I spent a day, probably not even a day, like a few hours leveling up another 70 alt in case my barb died. Then I got another barb raring to go with backup gear. So in certain hardcore modes, there are redundancies that you can create for yourself to minimize downtime. Because this is solo self-found, which means there is no trading, no access to resources other than what you find, you can't really gear up or mitigate time loss from losing your character. You have to start right from scratch in all the ways. And I'll talk about why that's a fun and appealing thing in a moment. If you played lots of World of Warcraft at any point, like I never played original WoW, I started during Burning Crusade. This is a fresh coat of paint on a game that and makes things a lot more interesting that are benign. Like, I've never been more excited to get white labeled items in my life playing this game. Like, I get an upgrade that's like 2 DPS more, in the early level. I'm like, woo, that's great. 6 slot bags, best bags ever. When it always sucks when you don't find enough 6 slot bags and you have to pay for them eventually. There's a lot of reasons to celebrate very benign things in when you otherwise play WoW that you take for granted. That makes the mode very interesting. And so if you want a challenge, it's there. The other thing I would say is NA and EU have dedicated servers that they've selected for this game mode. So you'll find that what's kind of nice about, and one of the reasons you play an MMO is for the social aspect, the camaraderie, or we're all going through this together. So if you're on those servers, the community discussion will be related to that. So it's fun to play when a lot of other people are playing, including a lot of content creators and streamers. There are death compilations going out on the official mod YouTube website, for example, and it's fun to watch those. Good learning tool too. Let other people's misfortune be how you learn. So I'm just going to also clarify really quick. I kind of maybe did this a little out of order, but I know some of our listeners might not be familiar with hardcore or solo self-found concepts. So just as a brief explanation, hardcore, just the terminology, means you die, that's it. Character's gone permanently. No ifs, ands, or buts. Because WoW was not designed with this game mode in mind, griefing is a thing. I haven't done this, so I can't really explain it to you in detail, but there is a way to appeal any griefing deaths that may have occurred. If you click flag PvP on by accident because someone's intentionally tricking you into doing that, or someone unleashed a high level monster in a place it isn't supposed to be in order for it to aggro you, that might be appealable. But if you win AFK and you were auto running off a cliff, well, that's your own damn fault and you gotta start over. What is solo self-found? I think I alluded to it a little bit, but basically there's no trading available in the rule set here. So you'll find in the mod a detailed itemization of the rules. There's no auction house, there's no trading. If you are in a duo or trio, you can trade within the duo or trio, which is a nice aspect. I haven't done any duo or trios yet, but that seems like a fun way to play as well. You do have to play together in the same zone, and at the same time, you can't solo for a bit on your own if you're doing duo or trios, so schedule accordingly with your friends. And there are level limits as to when you can't farm dungeons. You can do a dungeon once. So, and there's max levels for dungeons. If you are over the level threshold, you can't do it. And in those circumstances, you still can't trade. Like a mage, can conjure food. He's not allowed to trade that. There's still no trading allowed. But you are able to, group together and do that group content together once. If you want to know how to get started, if you've heard all this and you're like, I should play WoW, I definitely want to do that. And when I get started, classichc.net is the site where you can find the mod and much better instructions, including some great videos that will orient you on what you need to do. So I'm not going to re-explain all that here. Go there. And I think it's all but confirmed, or it's been confirmed, but we're still waiting to see. I think around August 2023, official hardcore WoW servers put out by Blizzard. Those might be more up your alley. If it's official, it changes things a little bit. I think probably there won't be as much support for appeals as you might expect from the mod community, but they are looking at potentially including in some shape or form what they call social features. So that may include auction house or some rule set that's not necessarily catering to the solo self-found, but it's still death equals delete. So I think the community is a little unclear as to what exactly to expect, but I'm expecting it won't be quite as stringent. The requirements won't be quite as stringent on the solo self-found side for the official WoW hardcore servers. It remains to be seen what that's going to be like, but it's something to look forward to, and you may want to wait for that. Okay, so that pretty much covers the A to Z. Should you play? Have you decided you're going to play? Comment if you decide yes or no below. I'd be interested to hear what our community is deciding to do. We don't have a core guild yet, because I don't know how to manage a guild where characters are constantly getting deleted. And trust me, hundreds of players die a day and have to start over in the kill feed, which is both horrible to see, but also kind of fun too. It really brings everyone together in the same crushing pain that this mode does provide. Which brings me to the last aspect of why you should, like why would you want to do this? I think reason one, it's the thrill of walking on a tightrope. I talked about how exciting it is to get white labeled items. Well, it's also kind of exciting to run a dungeon, and at any moment it could be your last breath. Like it makes death meaningful, and it makes the thrill of playing these things. It enhances it in a way. Whereas I think if you played any original retail WoW through any of the eras, you die, you corpse run, and no big deal. Lesson learned. Is it really changes your relationship with every aspect of the game. And I think another reason is that it's just captured a lot of players' imagination. I think the hardcore mod's been around for a little while, but it's like picked up momentum as the hobbies become more and more widespread, and watching, I think larger content creators are getting in on this, and I think that's spreading interest around to a lot of people. So it's just something to do that's kind of... The best analogy I'd come up with is like a happening restaurant or a nightclub where, no one wants to go to a place that has 5 people in it. It's absolutely dead. And, right now this activity is seeing a lot of interest. And so you'll find a lot of people to communicate with, play with. It's just interesting content now that you're participating in it. So being a part of something like that, especially for an MMO player where social is an important aspect, I think it's resonating with a lot of people that way as well. So, and finally, it's just fun to challenge yourself. It's an accomplishment. I think there are many ways that you can challenge yourself in gaming, but this is, oh my God. I don't know if you guys can hear that truck, but that was really loud. But anyways, there's many ways to challenge yourselves in gaming, and it's kind of fun to take on these challenges and see how far you can get. And, sort of like the tightrope thing, but I think more just there's a sense that like there's a feeling of accomplishment that comes with doing this kind of thing. So if you're a World of Warcraft player, it might be kind of fun to challenge yourself in that way and breathe, new life into a game. I know I haven't played for 4 or 5 years, and I've come back to it. It's nice to be back in the World of Warcraft with the music and everything you love about the game. It's nice to be back and feel like it's meaningful and fun with that accomplishment of mine. Okay, that's it for the minute. I believe now it's time for a clip of something else. See you soon. Exactly, aim that.
A yum! Oh! Make this dream happen today! Oh.